Hello, this is Patrick. This morning I was reading the Paris climate agreement and I found it online and I was reading. I kind of read through most of it. I'm going to go read the second half one more time. And what do I think of it? It's kind of complicated because it's not clear what's what. There's a lot of social engineering in this agreement. And in particular, it points out a lot of groups. Things like vulnerable groups or groups that have not been treated well by history. Now these are all subjective type variables and even sustainable growth. We don't know what all that means. And it goes on and on and on. The groups, essentially, they're going to transfer great sums of money from one group to another group. And it's a very expensive environment. And they used to call it global warming, but now it's called climate change. They don't know what they want. But climate change, when you go through history, one of the things a historian looks at is what was the weather like at the time. Because every part of history is different. When you look at England, you go back 1,000 years, it's one thing. You go back 2,000 years to Roman Britain, it's another weather, where they had vineyards and things. So we're dealing with constant change in weather. We've known that there's been biblical changes, such as Noah's Ark, the flooding. And many think that was in fact a changing of the Earth's axis, which science knows is a fact. It happens, and that was not addressed. So they're looking at the world, and the United States in particular. It's frozen in time in 2005. That figure of emissions, way back in 2005, we're going to reduce it another 28%, our emissions. Yet we're supposed to have growth for all these new people coming in, and it's just not going to happen. The idea is we're the only one under the gun. I mean, it's draconian. Why he signed it, no one knows. Just logic. You're going like, well, this is not going to solve anything. This is not a solving the world and being green. This is putting a gun to someone's head and say, we're going to shut down your factory. That's it. And it's purely arbitrary because they say, well, as a nation, we need to get 28% reduction in emissions. And okay. And then the other point is, right now, China is responsible for 30% of emissions. The United States is 15. There's really nothing for China to reduce their emissions from. So I didn't see that anywhere yet. You know, are they using the 2005 level themselves, or they get to use emissions from 2016? That's not clear. And so the advantage is to China, India to sign this. And the other people, it's just about money. It's large sums of money. The carbon tax, which is basically to deindustrialize the United States. And essentially what it's doing is, through treaties, we are going to deindustrialize the United States, depopulate the United States, and it goes on and on. And the burden of the whole document is the taxpayers of the United States. So what is going on here? So let's just go dowse it real quick. And this is from a very objective point of view. That's what dowsing is. It's from a spiritual perspective, higher self, connected to the universal consciousness. All right? The Christ conscious, the Buddha conscious. We are going to ask from the highest dimensions what this looks back when you look like this. And it's very clear. Because you can see energy, how it shifts, and you can see the energies, their purpose, you know, behind any activity. And you can gussy it up. What they say, put a lipstick on a pig? If I drink enough, maybe it works. But let's look. So let's look And what's this? So let's look at for its day, where is the Magna Carta? I never ever did the Magna Carta before. Holy, look at that. Magna Carta is 9. Where is the U.S. Constitution? It's 7.5. Where is the Paris Climate Agreement? In its intentions, and it's in vibration. Wait a minute. What's going on here? It's a half a star. Half. Anything. Now let's get clear about this. So, the intention and the purpose of this document. If you are on the 6th dimension and you are looking at this document, you could see the frequency of it. That is what everyone is going to be able to do in a couple of years. Everybody's going to be more sensitive and be able to read the energy of a situation, of a building, a location, a person, a document, a proposal. And what our goal is as humans, we're going to want to increase our vibration and frequency. That's the purpose in life. And that'll give you fulfillment and purpose in life. And that's what you need. You can't sit around playing video games. So we just told you the Magna Carta was like a 9.5. You know, I haven't read the Magna Carta. I should go read it. I didn't know. That's the first time I ever did it. And it's a 9.5. It's off the chart. Because it's taking the perspective of this document. Somebody drew this up in the time of the feudal system, which is slavery. All right? That's another word for slavery, is feudal. And the world, the whole world has a feudal system in a sense at the time. The whole world was in slavery. Slavery's not new. It's always been here. And as, I shouldn't say that. I'm going to skip the next part. I edit myself. So let's go exact. So, can you give me child abuse? Where is that? Where is it? Okay, 1. Where's sex with children? Now I got a point here. Okay, it's below 1. Where is it, please? Point 3. That's how dark. I just want to give you something to compare this for. 0.45. Okay, show me the Paris Agreement. It's below 1. Where is it? 0.3. Sex with children is about the darkest thing on the planet, right? Besides sacrifices. And that's 0.4 on my scale. 0.4 of 1 star on my 10-star system. Do you understand? So it's not even 1 star, it's half a star. So 0.4. This agreement is 0.3. This agreement is worse than sex with children. But they're making it sound like they're saving the environment. No. And they're trying to say, we're going to address climate change. You can't address climate change. That's God's duty. Climate is always changing. Always. We know that. Scientists know it's constantly changing. So they changed their whole purpose in the last few years from global warming, because everybody said it's a farce. Now they're going to climate change. Why is it? It's to destroy the United States economy. And it's to make America equal to other countries like Brazil and Mexico. We're all like equal. No. You know, this for better or worse, we developed this system that produces wealth and prosperity. And we try to have a system of laws. Now this has been overcome. As we said, this country has been overcome. Kennedy's assassination was the turning point. And then the other turning point was Watergate. Gerald Ford took over as president. And I call him Spectre. I'm just half joking, you know, from, what is Spectre? The other one is Chaos, the man from U.N.C.L.E. And Spectre had, that was 007. So you have these writers who wrote this actually were channeling that the world had a co-government, as it were, that was a criminal organization. It's always been there. And what's happened is, when Kennedy became president, that was a downward, when he was assassinated, that was a downward trend. They took over. But they didn't get 50% power until Gerald Ford. And then now they're at, I think it's 85% power. I think they're really, really high. They went up the last 2 years. But I think, I might do that someday. I don't have time today. We'll see if Trump's, so this is Trump's presidency will turn things around and we'll start going in another direction. And Trump is taking the hits. I think his stature is going to go up immensely overseas and in the United States. He did you remember I said he had his platform he ran on, and he went up to the election and he's going, okay, I'm all on board. And then after the election, he pulled back tremendously from his platform. Do you remember that? He appointed all these Wall Street people. He appointed. Don't write a comment about this. This is what he did. I'm just making a point that he appointed people who have a globalist point of view for the world, for better or worse. And he kept going. He started backtracking on the climate deal. His daughter was making inroads on that. He started, and he went all the way up to the Syrian bombing. And at that point, the day before the Syrian bombing, I believe just tell me quickly. He went, President Trump position, he was 40%, 50% more globalist than nationalist. So he moved significantly, all right? So, where is he now? So, then he bombed Syria, right? And he bombed Syria. That was okay. And then he bombed Syria. Where is he? Okay, 1 month after bombing Syria, boom, he moved all the way back over to a center position. Where is he in July? Boom. He's 80% nationalist. He's moving hard back to the nationalist position, which is Steve Bannon. Throwing this deal out was a nationalist position. If he did this in February, he would not have done this. Do you see how he changed? Because he says, what do I have to lose? Everybody's attacking me. I'll probably be dead. They're burning my hotels. They're lighting fires. They're arsons. My character is being assassinated. I don't have anything to lose. I'm just going to go all the way to the hard right, do everything what everyone wants me to do. And subconsciously, the nation wants him to do this. And so that's really interesting that this document is worse than abusing children sexually. That's how low and dark it is. And the intention is to dismantle the United States. And no one knows this, but this information will come out more and more. But when you read that, it's not has anything to do with the climate. All right? They call it chunk, and when you read it, it's all about money. It's all about transferring wealth. It's about meeting targets that they have these mechanisms. They can find you eventually. When you read the agreement, which I had this morning, I got a couple more pages to read. It said, go see this document of the World United Nations 1992. That's the main one. Then there's this Warsaw Convention mechanism. That's one. And so they have all these, they're referring you to other documents all the time. Well, this is a web of legalese and legal stuff to hide from the public what is going on. It's not spelled out. And you really have to get a hold of a lawyer and read it. And that's what they want to do. They wanted to hide that this was a dismantling of the United States economy. That's why it's so dark. It's going to cause suffering in this country. In this country. Germany is going to do great. South Africa is going to do great. Brazil, China. China, they're 30% of the emissions right now. And they don't have to do anything. And they go, oh, we're going to make a push for this. It's all lies. India says they're going to keep pushing on. It's all lies. This whole document was a lie. And the only thing we can do to improve the environment is really clean and cheap energy. And it's here. You all know about Tesla. Do you want to see if Tesla's technology was valid? Let's rate it, please. Let's go this one. Let's say, is there truth behind Tesla's energy technology? And the answer is yes. Could you tell me how true it is? Right now, today, do we have the energy to give everybody household electricity and run all the factories? Yes. Is this free and clean energy? Yes. It's there. And it's there 100%, as I just said it. So we have it. That's the solution. The solution, but they don't want that solution. They want a solution of legalese, breaking down the borders, and dismantling the United States, essentially. They want to get rid of, I don't want to tell you everything they want to get rid of. I can't do that, but because you'll call me a pig. But what they want to do is have control over the world. And this criminal organization, this is a turning point. It's really, really important. This is the first major, besides Trump's election, him throwing out this dark document. Dowses at home. Do tarot cards on this document at home. It's dark, it's dark, it's dark. It's Lucifer and Satan. This is where it was written. They wrote it. They're shoving it down your throat. This man had huge pressure against him from all these dark entities, and he said no. This was written off planet. The Magna Carta, the Lord's Prayer, was written off planet to higher dimensions. This is easy. This is easy. So this is going to get really hot this summer. And I hope you enjoyed that. I know I rambled a little bit, but that's sort of a nutshell. Go read the agreement. It's just a contract, basically, and it's very obscure and smoke and mirrors. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.